Hello, everyone. I'm Jared Barton on behalf of the President's Athletic Conference and the PAC Sports Network. After another great year on the hardwood, it's time to unveil some postseason accolades as we take a look at our 2026 PAC Men's Volleyball All-Conference teams, as well as our Newcomer of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year laurels. Earning a spot on this all-conference list is not something to be taken lightly, as it is a testament to not only your skill on the court, but also the dedication of your coaches and teammates as well to make you a better player. Without further ado, let's take a look at our PAC All-Conference Honorable Mention team. Christian Parks, libero, Geneva. Derek Chang, outside hitter and middle blocker, Hiram. Braden Artman, middle blocker, St. Vincent. Daniel Spear, middle blocker, Geneva. Armani George, middle hitter, Chatham. Andrew Kessler, middle blocker, Grove City. George Schwalm IV, right side hitter, Teal. Colin Brooks, right side hitter, Hiram. Cole Thomas, libero, Bethany. Colin Sivak, outside hitter, Hiram. Evan Puel, middle blocker, Geneva. Dakota Welsh, outside hitter and libero, Hiram. And Rocco Marino, middle hitter, St. Vincent. Let's move on to the PAC All-Conference second team honors. John Gozarowski, libero, Chatham. Andrew Eubinger, setter, Geneva. Jack Ryan, setter, St. Vincent. Owen Kelly, outside hitter, Geneva. Evan DiMalanta, outside hitter and libero, Grove City. Will Zimmerman, outside hitter, Teal. Bryce Lazanich, middle blocker, Teal. And Carson Good, right side hitter, Grove City. Now let's take a look at the PAC Men's Volleyball All-Conference first team selections. Jackson Genicola, libero, St. Vincent. RJ Nag, setter, Chatham. Zebediah Wyatt, outside hitter, St. Vincent. Ezra Osterling, outside hitter, Teal. Teague Malcolm, middle blocker, Grove City. Caleb Proudfoot, middle blocker, Teal. Sean McSwiggan, right side hitter, St. Vincent. And Tim McCabe, right side hitter, Chatham. Now it's time to announce our individual award winners for the 2026 campaign. Newcomer of the Year, Jack Ryan, the setter from St. Vincent. Defensive Player of the Year, Jackson Genicola, libero, St. Vincent. Player of the Year, Caleb Proudfoot, middle blocker from Teal. Coach of the Year, Kate McCauley of the St. Vincent College Bearcats. Now it's time to send the program over to the PAC Sports Network's Jack Ridenauer, who sat down with our PAC Men's Volleyball Coach of the Year, Kate McCauley. Jack?
Thanks, Jared. We're now joined by the PAC Men's Volleyball Coach of the Year from St. Vincent, Coach Kate McCauley. Coach, first off, thanks so much for joining us, and a huge congrats on the award, but also a really successful season. What does it mean to you in the program to win this award and also bring this type of attention to St. Vincent?
This award is great. I think you owe it all to your team. I mean, I only get 2 timeouts throughout a whole match or throughout a whole set. So for me to be able to really motivate them in those 2 sets is great, or in those 2 timeouts. But also, I think to bring this to St. Vincent is great. Our program only being 5 years old, just about as old as the PA, well, a little bit younger than or older than the PAC, but we show in our area how big volleyball can be at St. Vincent.
Well, it certainly showed out on the floor this year. Had a tremendous season, going to the semifinals, a 10-2 conference record. When you look back at the year that the team had, where do you feel they grew the most as a whole, from the preseason, the early part of the year, to the final match of the season?
I think they grew a lot defensively. I think our defense really pulled through towards the end, as we can see in some of the awards that they also won. But then also, I think they grew as a whole, like as a team, as a family. Something I preach to them is family every day, that we're with each other more than we are our own families. So I think in general, they started out a little bit separated, and then they brought all the freshmen back in, and they just started back from the ground and worked their way up. And I think by the time the semifinals rolled around, we were just one big family.
Well, we'll definitely touch on the defense in a little bit, because certainly that was a big calling card for your group. But I want to go back to the beginning part of the season. You guys had some pretty tough non-conference games, including a nationally ranked opponent in there. But then ultimately you go 10-0 to start PAC play. So what did those first couple matches teach this team about what it takes to be very successful, but also have great success in the PAC?
I purposely always put Juniata at the beginning of our schedule, just because they are they're very tough competition for us. I always throw the freshmen in there. It's like baptism by fire, I guess, if you want to say, that they have to play the tough guys. But a lot of people don't know about Juniata is there are a lot of local guys too. So they're guys that they've seen playing club. They're guys that they've seen in high school. It just happens to be they're about a foot taller than us. So that's just the big competition there. But in general, I think it helps the guys realize, like, this is the toughest we might see throughout the time. And it helps them get in the mindset of, we might have these teams that we can single-handedly beat, but there are times that the game is going to be tough. And I really think that's what those tough games that I put at the beginning of our schedule help us do.
And again, it certainly showed off in that PAC conference start. And then, like we mentioned, the defense being such a big calling card this year, and having Jackson Genicola as the PAC Defensive Player of the Year, I'm sure had a lot to do with that. And as just a sophomore, I'm curious, where did he take the biggest leap from last year to this year, and really being able to avoid the very scary sophomore slump?
I think it helped that he was in the position that he needed to be in. Last year, Jackson set for us because I didn't have a setter at the beginning of the year. So I think in general, that's how he didn't have the sophomore slump, as a couple other sophomores did in our conference. But they really helped. It helped Jackson's confidence to be where he needed to be. And then him being confident showed the rest of our team that oh, he's got our back, so we can make sure that we do our exact jobs that we need to do.
And then you also have the newcomer of the year in Jack Ryan. And so the future awfully bright for the program. What kind of conversations have you had with both Jackson and Jack about the importance that they'll have, not just on the floor, but also being ambassadors for the program on campus?
I know Jackson knows pretty well that he's a big person and a big face for our program at this point. But Jack, I don't know if he's there yet. Since we just ended the season on Thursday, I haven't really seen too much of them. I kind of give them their space, and we'll see each other when this airs. So it'll be a nice little time. But I think Jack realizes it too. He's been all about talking to me about recruits and what needs to happen. So I know they all think that the future is very bright, and that was the first thing that after we lost in the semis, they all said, "Don't worry, it's only up from here. We're not going down. We're only going up." So I think they all understand it.
And it's been a very fast ascension for this program. You mentioned just a couple years old, and what you guys have been able to do in the short amount of time. AMCC, you go to the championship in that conference. You come to the PAC, you go to the semifinals in another conference. How do you kind of put this all together, and what has it meant to you as somebody that played volleyball at St. Vincent, is a St. Vincent grad, and now you're getting to guide this program? What has it meant to you personally?
Personally, it's been awesome. I started this program from the beginning. Then I took a year off. I didn't coach for a year. So seeing what had happened in those 2 years that I wasn't really around really pushed me to want to make this program even better. I knew what we had in Western Pennsylvania and what the program could be. And I knew of what Sue had done with the women's program and how she had pushed me and wanted me to do whatever I could. And that's just what I instill in the guys right now. I told the seniors today or yesterday, it's not just 4 years, it's forever. So, and Coach Cam says that too, which I always say. I always have to make sure I give her some props for that. But for me, the team just means so much. This was my first year of seniors. They were my first year that I recruited. So it was my first class the whole way through. And those guys really changed the chemistry and the trajectory of what this program should be. They bought in, they created a culture, they created discipline, and they bought into what I really wanted the program to be. And I think it's, again, only able to go up from here.
Without question. And again, it just continues to go up and up for St. Vincent men's volleyball. And Coach, it's been great to have you on and hear a little bit about the Bearcat program. But before we let you run, I want to hear from you because it feels like this is a great season for this program to really continue to build off of and really springboard St. Vincent men's volleyball a little bit higher. How can that be done, and how can that kind of elevate this program to become not only a top-tier team in the conference, but also in the region and eventually nationally?
Yeah, we were regionally ranked for, I think, 2 weeks, which was awesome after we had gone through our 14-game winning streak. Actually getting some regional confidence is what I called it. Next year, we're going to play some more of those ranked teams to be able to get our name out there and be able to get the team some more of that recognition, a little bit like what Teal did this year. Teal played some more ranked teams, and they got their name out there, and they were ranked for a few weeks. I mean, we were also up there with them, but I think to be able to have a couple more of our teams in our conference be able to verse those opponents, it will get the PAC a little bit more recognition. I keep saying that, but also a little bit more backbone in our region, I guess I should say. They have a lot of these teams that have been just here forever and just been very much powerhouses. And I think that's just something that now if we play that top level, that we'll be able to put the PAC up there too.
Well, Coach, really excited to see the future for this program and what you continue to do over in Latrobe. Thanks so much for stopping by. Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you.
That's the PAC Men's Volleyball Coach of the Year for St. Vincent, Coach Kate McCauley. Jared, back to you.
Thanks, Jack. Once again, a big congratulations to all of our PAC All-Conference participants. It was a well-deserved honor to end this spring sports season in 2026. Well, thank you for joining us here on the President's Athletic Conference Men's Volleyball All-Conference Selection Show. I'm Jared Barton, and as we say goodbye, here's one last look at our All-Conference participants. We'll catch you next time right here on the PAC Sports Network.